Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me lose faith in humanity. Story 1. Sister wants me to rehome my 12-year-old dog for her summer visits. So my sister just told me I need to get rid of my 12-year-old dog because her kid has allergies. Let me explain this absolute mess. My sister moved abroad permanently a while back, but she's decided she wants to come live with me and my parents every summer for 2 whole months. Cool, family time, right? Wrong. Here's the thing, we have this 12-year-old dog, and her child is severely allergic. Last summer was the first time she came to stay since moving, and she managed to find 2 friends who each took the dog for a month. But guess what? They don't want to do it again. Shocking, right? So I've been trying to find other friends or even paid services to take care of our senior dog for 2 months every year, but it's proving impossible. Nobody wants to take on that responsibility, especially for such a long period. And honestly, I'm starting to think this whole arrangement is ridiculous. This is a 12-year-old dog we're talking about. She's been part of our family for over a decade. She's got maybe a few good years left, and my sister wants to uproot her life every single summer. The stress alone could be terrible for an elderly dog. But here's where it gets worse, my sister is now pressuring not just me, but my parents too, to permanently rehome the dog. She's saying it's the only practical solution since she plans to keep doing these summer visits indefinitely. She's making it sound like we're being unreasonable for wanting to keep our own pet in our own home. I tried explaining that this dog has been with us since she was a puppy, that she's comfortable here, that this is her home. But my sister just keeps saying her child's health comes first, which I get, but there have to be other solutions. I suggested maybe they could stay in a hotel, or rent a place nearby, but she says that's too expensive and defeats the purpose of family time. She's also suggested that we could visit them instead, but honestly, why should we have to completely change our lives and abandon our pet just because she decided to move abroad? The whole thing is causing massive family drama. My parents are caught in the middle, and I can tell they're torn. They want to see their grandchild, but they also love our dog. My sister keeps saying I'm being selfish and that I clearly don't care about my nephew's well-being, which is completely unfair. I do care about the kid, but I also care about our dog who's been a loyal family member for 12 years. The worst part is she's acting like this is some kind of emergency when she's the one who chose to move abroad and then decided she wanted these extended summer visits. Nobody forced this situation on her. She created it and now wants everyone else to sacrifice for her convenience. I'm honestly at my breaking point here. Am I really supposed to abandon a senior dog who's been with us for over a decade just so my sister can have free accommodation for 2 months every year? What would you do in this situation? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. My husband shows me his bloody work injuries like trophies. So my husband thinks it's hilarious to send me pictures of his bloody injuries, and I finally snapped and called him a careless idiot. Now he's mad at me, but honestly, I think I'm losing my mind here. Let me paint you a picture. My husband works a blue-collar job, and I get it, accidents happen. But this guy sends me photos of his bloodied hands or arms like once or twice a week with captions like, "Haha, look at this injury I sustained today." First of all, I'm blood shy, so seeing these pictures makes me physically sick. But that's not even the worst part. Every single time he sends me one of these photos, it reminds me that he's probably going to die first in some horrific work accident and leave me a widow. Like, thanks honey, really needed that anxiety today. I've told him repeatedly how these pictures affect me, but he just keeps doing it. He thinks it's funny or maybe he's trying to show off how tough he is. I honestly don't understand the mindset. It's like he's collecting injury photos like Pokemon cards. The thing is, I'm starting to genuinely think he might actually be stupid. Not just careless, but actually lacking basic intelligence when it comes to safety. Some of these injuries are so preventable it's not even funny. He'll tell me stories about how he got hurt and I'm sitting there thinking, any reasonable person would have seen that coming from a mile away. Last week was the final straw. He sent me this particularly gross photo of a deep cut on his hand, and I just lost it. I called him back immediately and told him he was a careless idiot who clearly doesn't value his own safety or consider how his reckless behavior affects me. I said I was tired of wondering every day whether I was going to get a call from his work saying he'd seriously injured himself or worse. He got all defensive and said I was overreacting, that it's just part of the job and I should be more supportive. Supportive? I'm supposed to be supportive of him repeatedly injuring himself and traumatizing me with bloody photos? He also said other guys' wives don't make such a big deal about work injuries. Well, good for them, but I'm not other wives, and I shouldn't have to pretend to be okay with something that genuinely upsets me. The whole thing has turned into this massive fight where he's saying I don't understand his job and I'm saying he doesn't understand basic safety precautions. His co-workers apparently think I'm being dramatic, but they're not the ones getting surprise gore photos during lunch breaks. I love my husband, but I'm seriously questioning his judgment lately. These aren't freak accidents, they're preventable injuries that keep happening because he won't take proper precautions. And the fact that he thinks it's appropriate to document and share them with me? I just don't get it. Am I really being unreasonable here, or is my husband actually as careless as I think he is? Story 3. I'm done going home for holidays because my mom won't stop criticizing me. So I just told my parents I'm never coming home for the holidays again, and they think I'm being dramatic. But honestly, I'm completely done with this toxic cycle. Here's the thing, I've gone home for every single holiday since I moved out. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every Easter, you name it. And every single time, it's the exact same nightmare. My mom criticizes absolutely everything about me. My apartment's too messy, my job isn't good enough, my boyfriend's not right for me, I've gained weight, I'm eating too much at dinner, I'm not eating enough, my clothes are wrong, my hair looks bad, literally nothing I do is ever right in her eyes. And the worst part? Nobody ever defends me. My dad, my siblings, they all just sit there awkwardly and say nothing while she tears me apart. It's like watching someone get bullied and doing nothing to stop it. Last Thanksgiving was the breaking point. She made a comment about how I clearly wasn't taking care of myself right in front of my extended family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone just sitting there while she humiliated me. I was mortified, but I didn't want to cause a scene, so I just took it like I always do. But this Christmas? Oh boy, this Christmas was something else. She spent the entire dinner critiquing my life choices. Apparently my career is a joke, my relationship is doomed, and I'm wasting my potential. Then she started in on my appearance again, saying I looked tired and asking if I was taking vitamins. Like, gee mom, I wonder why I look tired. Could it be because I'm constantly stressed about coming home and being torn apart? The final straw was when she said I should probably think about moving back home because I'm obviously struggling to adult properly. In front of everyone. Again. I couldn't take it anymore, so I left early and drove home in tears. That's when I decided I was done. I called them this week and told them I wouldn't be coming home for any more holidays. I explained that these visits consistently make me feel terrible about myself and that I need to prioritize my mental health. You'd think they might reflect on their behavior, right? Wrong. My mom immediately got defensive and said I'm being too sensitive and that she's just trying to help me improve myself. Help me improve? By constantly telling me everything about my life is wrong. My dad said I'm overreacting and that family is supposed to stick together no matter what. But here's what I don't understand, why is it my responsibility to endure being torn down just because we're family? Why do I have to sacrifice my mental health and self-esteem for the sake of family harmony? Now they're all calling me dramatic and selfish, saying I'm breaking up the family over nothing. But it's not nothing to me. These visits leave me feeling depressed for weeks afterward. I start questioning everything about my life and wondering if maybe she's right, maybe I really am a failure. The thing is, I have a good life. I like my job, my relationship is solid, I'm happy most of the time. But somehow she manages to make me forget all of that within hours of being home. My friends think I'm doing the right thing by setting boundaries, but my family is acting like I've committed some unforgivable sin. Am I really being too dramatic, or is it okay to protect yourself from family members who consistently make you feel awful? Story 4. Called out a guy for manspreading and it turned into international drama. So I got into the weirdest confrontation on a train in Rome, and now I'm questioning everything about international etiquette. Picture this, I'm getting on this crowded train, and there's this guy literally sitting between two seats. Like, not in a seat, between two seats, with his legs spread so wide that nobody could sit down. A lady gets on before me and sits in one of the seats, and this guy doesn't budge an inch. I'm standing there waiting for him to move so I can sit in the other seat, and he just stares at me. After about 5 seconds of this awkward standoff, he finally shifts over, but then he starts glaring at me like I've personally offended his entire bloodline. So I'm thinking, what's this guy's problem? I ask him straight up, is there a problem? And he rolls his eyes, actually rolls his eyes at me, and says I could have asked politely, that it's basic etiquette. Basic etiquette? This guy was literally hogging 2 seats on a crowded train and he wants to lecture me about manners. I told him, you were manspreading and you want me to ask nicely for basic courtesy. You should have moved automatically. And that's when things got really weird. He starts going off about how I'm being rude and Americans don't understand European culture. Plot twist, I'm not even American, but apparently that doesn't matter when you're looking for something to be offended about. Then he says, and I quote, in Europe, we have manners. Like, sir, you were literally preventing 2 people from sitting down and I'm the one without manners. The whole train car is watching this unfold at this point, and I can see people looking back and forth between us like they're watching a tennis match. Some people seem to agree with me, others are looking at me like I'm the problem. It was so uncomfortable but also kind of fascinating from an anthropological perspective. He kept insisting that I should have said, excuse me, or, could you please move, instead of just standing there waiting. But here's my question, why should I have to ask someone to stop taking up multiple seats on public transportation? Isn't that just common sense? If you see someone needs to sit and you're taking up extra space, don't you just move? The whole thing escalated to the point where other passengers started getting involved. This older Italian woman started speaking rapidly in Italian to the guy, and based on her tone and his reaction, I'm pretty sure she was telling him off. But then this other passenger sided with him, saying I was being aggressive and confrontational. Eventually the guy moved to a different car, but not before making some comment about tourists that I didn't fully catch. The whole experience left me wondering if there really are different cultural expectations about this kind of thing, or if this guy was just being a jerk and hiding behind cultural differences to justify it. Like, is manspreading more socially acceptable in some places? Are there different rules about asking people to move versus waiting for them to figure it out themselves? I've traveled plenty and never had an interaction quite like this one. Usually when there's a seating situation, people just naturally adjust without needing to be asked. But maybe I really was being rude by not using magic words. The whole thing was so bizarre and uncomfortable, and I keep replaying it wondering if I handled it wrong. What would you have done in that situation? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.